They get talking, chatting. And people overheard him say one thing. It's nice to meet you. My name is Ted.
Yes.
That's what he said. We're doing Ted Bundy tonight.
Welcome to Talk Murder to me, guys.
Hey. This is maybe on YouTube.
Hey, I'm making our post.
You know how I felt the past month? Like, I think out of the 31 days of January, I said 30 because today's the 31st, so there were 30 other days. I think maybe I've seen you guys 8 to 12 times.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much going on like an every other day type cadence.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in forever.
Since Tuesday night.
I feel like, you know what I feel like?
But we exchanged one word yesterday. You're like, hi, guys. And we're like, hey, Jen.
Yeah.
We got back.
Yeah, well, because the door was open, so I was like, oh, they're awake. So I feel like there needs to be like a National Geographic special on me. Look, and in the wild,
Jen Collins, who you may or may not see.
Look, there she is. Quiet, you don't want to scare her.
She's currently in her cocoon cave napping. Be careful not to disturb.
You know we have Australian listeners.
Yes, I'm so
Kalani,
We
Jazz,
have Australian Taco Supremos.
Yeah. Give us some feedback. How are Australian
I literally
accents?
want to keep them as our friends in tacos.
Oh, I forgot
Jazz
to ask.
and Kalani are cool.
Hey, either one of you ladies want to Skype in on one of my projects for school? We're doing a presentation on Australian culture. So email me at jen@talkmurder.com for details if you're interested.
For the deets.
Or any of our other Australian listeners.
All right, guys. So what are we drinking tonight?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about these drinks.
You tell us. You made it.
We're drinking Singapore Slings.
Why?
Because the hint was sling. I'm kind of glad because I've always wanted to try a Singapore Sling. It has such a fun name to it, doesn't it?
I mean, do they drink this in Singapore?
I doubt it. We didn't have all of the ingredients, I will say. We didn't do the cherry liqueur and we didn't do the Benedictine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little tart. I think it's probably the Cointreau that's making it pretty tart. But it's gin, pineapple juice, grenadine, Cointreau, lime juice.
It's kind of like Hawaiian Punch with alcohol.
Yeah. It
But
does taste like Hawaiian Punch.
Not jungle juice. Doesn't taste like jungle juice.
Yeah.
It tastes like Hawaiian Punch.
Mm.
You can hardly taste the alcohol in there.
No, you don't. It's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Did our friends at 6 Mile recognize you today?
No.
They didn't?
Really?
No, because there was some new guy.
So no discount, huh?
I didn't
Okay,
get
y'all
a
can
discount
open it.
last time either. This is a concerning color.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, don't take it. What are you doing?
I'm not taking it. I'm just having a little sniff.
I might know what it is.
Well, guess right now.
Is it the root beer 99 root beer?
I guess we'll see.
I think it's going to be...
What's going on with you guys? Are you serious? We're getting way too ahead of ourselves. All right, before we do the surprise shot song, we have one of our Taco Supremos, a very loyal fan of ours, that is requesting us to do the surprise shot song with a cowbell.
Oh, we get to use the cowbell.
Right. So cowbell in addition to the
In
bongos?
addition, yeah.
Okay.
So I guess Nicole can hit the cowbell for us.
And a 1, and a 2, and a surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, is that another coffee? I liked that.
Ugh.
I like that a lot, actually.
So that was William Wolf Bourbon coffee.
Ooh.
Those shots were. And not only that, they were completely free because on our forum, talkmurder.com, for our Taco Supremos, we are now posting our tab. It's a little section that says pay our tab. It's in the booze bucket forum.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie,
Yes.
Yeah.
our Taco Supremo, Julie,
Oh, Julie. We love
literally
Julie.
within 10 minutes of me posting this,
She picked up our tab.
Yeah, for free
Julie's
shots.
birthday's coming up. I think it was yesterday when you hear this on Tuesday. So today's Thursday.
Happy birthday.
Julie.
Happy birthday,
I think
Julie.
we should sing her.
Should we
happy
sing
birthday.
it? Yeah, I'll sing it.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Julie. You picked up our tab. 3 shots of William Wolf bourbon coffee. They were amazing.
Delicious.
I loved it.
Thank you so much. She actually requested, because I told her you can request anything you want, a secret message to a friend or tell an ex-boyfriend off or whatever.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and she requested that she really likes the Surprise Shot song, just like everyone.
Right.
But she likes it when Nicole hits the cowbell. So that's what her request was for paying our tab. So thank you so much,
Thank
Julie.
you, Julie.
Thank you.
Also, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you. Now you can drink with us.
Yeah. All right.
T-shirt!
We got t-shirts in the mail. T-shirts, Taco Supremo t-shirts. Go to talkmurder.com. You can't buy these unless you're a Taco Supremo, but you can be jealous.
Yes. Talkmurder.com. Get your access to the forums and everything. We are now officially no longer on patreon.com. So if you want to be a Taco Supremo and get the exclusive 2019 taco shirt and access to a whole bunch of other stuff like your stickers, your forums, exclusive episodes, join us at talkmurder.com/join.
I like this one because it kind of tastes like a vanilla-y coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It definitely tastes like coffee. You know I'm going to get anything coffee. I love coffee. Come on.
True. Yeah, that was good. So we do have some Patreon subscribers to shout out, and this is our last time that we are going to be saying Patreon and the shout out because we are migrating over as at least as of this release. So we've got Danya. I think I'm saying that name right. If we are not, please tell me. But you have joined us as maybe a small taco now, but you will become a Taco Supremo when we migrate over to talkmurder.com.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler signed up as a Taco Supremo.
Yay.
Tyler, we now like you just as much as your twin brother, Jeremy, but still probably a little less because Jeremy signed up first. I'm joking.
I just want to point out it's 2 different people.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy, for confirming it's not a split personality.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And if you have a split personality, then both of your personalities can join our Patreon. Well, we're not doing Patreon anymore, are we?
No.
Talkmurder.com.
Talkmurder.com memberships going up tomorrow. That's on Friday.
So it's already up if you're listening to this.
Yeah, if you're listening to this right now and you want to see all the evidence photos, plus the forum, plus everything else, plus get a shout out on the show, go to talkmurder.com and log in. You should already know your login information. And thank you for your support.
Yeah.
We have a lot of really cool things that we're doing with the Talk Murder website. The page is out and released, and we're really only adding even more awesome things that we're going to be doing with that page. Just go to talkmurder.com/join, and for a $40 annual membership, you will get an exclusive Taco Supremo t-shirt. Now, this t-shirt is only going to be available for people who join on this website. It's not going to be available on our stores, and we are going to create a new themed shirt every year. So we have our exclusive Taco Supremo shirt designed and ready for 2019. Those are going to be in the mail to our existing Taco Supremos out probably next week as soon as they arrive. And so if you want to check out what the design looks like, we'll post a picture on the page, but it's really awesome. You'll also get 20% off to the store if you want some other Talk Murder swag. Plus, you'll get exclusive episodes that we only are posting on Talk Murder. We are also now doing live streams on Talk Murder, which is super fun and awesome. We just did our first one last week, and that was awesome. Exclusive photos from the crime scene and evidence that John uses from his episodes. John's posting book reviews and lists of what he's reading. We're posting all the drink recipes, so you know everything that we've been drinking from all of our episodes. What am I missing, John?
The shirt design for this year is called 8 Bite. It has a taco on the front, and it says Supremo on the bottom, so it's a membership club. Now, it's called 8 Bite because it's actually an 8-bit image, if you're familiar with old school Nintendo games, the whole 8-bit thing. And the reason we're doing that this year is because it's the first year that we're launching this podcast. It's the first year of this podcast being in existence. That's why we're starting almost like Atari started with the 8-bit. And we're starting at the very, it looks really cool. The taco looks really cool. It's pixelated. Awesome. On the back, there's a like a smaller van, Talk Murder logo van. It's really cool, and you can only get that. It's a very limited supply. I mean, anyone that joins this year will get it, but next year we're not going to sell on a store or anything.
That's right.
Yeah,
and there'll be a new shirt for 2020, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So if you really like us and you want to collect all the shirts for the years and years we do this, start with this one, 2019, because it's really cool. We put a lot of work into it. We designed it ourselves, which means it's even more cool than if we would have paid some designer in, I don't know, wherever designers are from.
Plus, for $40, getting a T-shirt, I mean, you could go to the store and pay $25 for a T-shirt, so it's well worth it to join the membership to get all that stuff.
And we do live streams weekly, and that's only the link that we use is unlisted. So if you have to be in the forum to get the link, and then you can talk to us directly. We do interact with our fans directly when we're doing the live stream.
Yes,
really
we had
cool.
so much fun with Lauren, Becca, Rebecca,
Shelby.
Yeah.
That was a good time. We had a couple people joining us right at the end, too.
And that, of course, is recorded and only available to our Tacos Primo members on the forum. And also so I do a lot of research for these stories. A lot of photos, like I'm finding them on some obscure forums and stuff like that. You can find them if you dig and search and dig and search and dig and search, or you can just become a Taco Supremo. And every time we launch an episode, you just go to the website and non-members will see the timeline of the killer and the crimes and all that stuff. Members will actually get to see the timeline plus all the photos I find of everything I find, all the crime scene photos. Rare videos I find, just any obscure thing I find, and I'll put it on there to build a complete case. So if you really want to wrap your head around the murder and the situation and the killer, you have to see all of the case. And the only way to do that is to become a Supremo member and join our forum.
Yay, talkmurder.com.
Yeah. Jen, where are we going tonight? Who are we killing tonight?
Florida in 94. No, 96.
The hint tonight was sling. So what has that got to do with the story, Jen?
The murderer was attacked, and he had a broken arm, and he had to wear a sling. Like when someone was fighting back.
Oh.
I think this takes place in Wyoming. And it's in... What did you say?
96.
Oh, I was going to say 96.
You could say 96.
No, we'll pick something different. I'm going to say 2001. And I want to say this has something to do with a slingshot.
I was almost thinking that too,
the killer is using a slingshot.
I'm sure there is a murder out there like that.
I'm going to say as a child,
the
murderer used a slingshot to torture animals.
Yeah, like Bart Simpson. Bart Simpson has a slingshot.
Mm-hmm.
And he tortures animals with it?
No,
but he shoots the principal with it.
Yeah.
Skinner.
All right, that's reasonable. As long as it's no animals were hurt in the making of it.
No animals were hurt
in
making this podcast.
Wyoming, 01. Slingshot. Sometimes I forget what I say. So I feel like we're getting more creative. We're trying to think outside the box. I mean, granted, sometimes you're like, the hint is Cinnabon, and it's that they left Cinnabons in the oven.
I know. That was stretching out. I really wanted Cinnabons. But I'm telling you, now that we're launching a new site and everything, because I'm going to put these hints out for our members, I'm really thinking a lot about these hints.
Are you going to give them the hints the same time you give us the hints?
No, I'm going to give them. Yeah. So I want our Tacos Primos to guess.
Dang,
because if
Tacos
you really
Primos.
know your murder cases, you would connect this one.
Here's
but it's
the deal.
hard.
You can't look it up.
You cannot look it up.
And spoil it for me and Jen, at least. I mean, you're going to spoil it for yourself.
You can send me a private message on the forum if you got it. And if you got the right answer and you promise you didn't look it up, I'll give you a shout out and send you a sticker.
Yay!
And top 3 should get read out.
Should get what?
Read.
Oh,
like
guesses? Yeah. Let's do that.
That's fun, too.
So everyone's the top 3 most creative are correct guesses. Yeah. And the hint tonight is very relevant. It's a very good hint. So.
All right. Yeah. That's a good idea. Dang, our Taco Supremos are really getting a lot with That's good.
So, Wyoming and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Nicole wins this one. Now that I know, I can orientate myself. She's the closest.
Whatever. Is it in Montana?
No, but I am learning all the states by looking at the map.
I was going to guess Montana.
No, we're going to Washington tonight.
Again?
Okay.
What was the last time we went to Washington?
Green River Killer.
Oh yeah, that was in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We're going... Have you guys never been to Pacific Northwest?
I have.
Why do they... No, I always wonder why they call it the Pacific Northwest.
Because the Pacific Ocean, and it's the northwest corner of the country.
That answers that question. Well, do they call us the Atlantic Southeast?
The East Atlantic, yeah. East.
No, we're the Southeast Atlantic. But that doesn't sound... Pacific Northwest has like a cool surfer vibe. No, you never heard of the Atlantic Southeast. That just
no, it's
sounds...
Southeast Atlantic.
Yeah, but no one says that, though.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
Do.
Who?
I mean, I've heard it before.
Not as much as Pacific Northwest.
Or people mostly just say Southeast. You're right.
Actually, the first time I heard of Pacific Northwest, this is how country I am, was from the Black Tapes. All right, if there's one podcast you should listen to, is that fucking podcast. I love that podcast. I've listened to it like 4 times already.
Good.
Yeah,
good
that's a good fucking podcast.
I don't think I've listened to that one.
You should. It's like a fictional not docuseries.
I think you did listen.
It's a fictional.
Is it the one about the game?
No,
but that's the same producers. But they're the Pacific Northwest
Peanuts or rabbits?
They're all good. They're all good.
Black Tapes is the best.
Yeah, Black Tapes. I would recommend that one because there's a lot of shitty fucking podcasts out there.
Yeah,
but that one's a good one.
This is gonna sound awful, but like I don't really listen to podcasts.
I don't either.
I don't have time. I only listen to ours.
I don't like other podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts suck. Okay, we're going to Lake Sammamish. Sammamish. Sammamish.
I wouldn't have got that right.
Hey, you know what? Right. You know what I did in class the other day?
What?
We watched Witness. It was a movie. And you know what was in that movie?
What?
Some Amish.
What Amish people?
I know, but what? I don't get. Okay, never mind.
You don't get that joke?
I get it, but the Witness, I don't understand Witness.
It was the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie.
Oh, I never seen it.
It was actually really good. It had Harrison Ford, and it's about this little boy who witnesses a murder, and Harrison Ford plays a detective, and then the bad guys are after him and the little boy and the mother who's Amish, and Harrison Ford goes back to an Amish community and lives with them, essentially.
It sounds good. I like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, it was really good.
He's badass.
It was really good. When my professor told me we were watching a movie about Amish people, I was like, eh. No offense to the Amish people. I know they're not going to hear this, but still.
I think we feel
unless they're on Rumspringa. But it's for my multicultural class. We're learning about different cultures. But yeah.
Okay, guys, we are going to Lake Sammamish tonight. This is, what year do you think this video is taking place?
1967.
77.
74.
Oh, well, that was your second guess, Jen, so that doesn't count. But it is July 14th, 1974. Now, you have got to see this rare video. Our Supremos can see this video. Go to talkmurder.com, see all the evidence photos. This is a video of an 8mm. Have you guys seen that movie, Super 8? I think it's Super 8. It's really good. But, an 8mm camera, this is like back in the day. 40,000 people are at this park. Look at that guy's
afro.
Yeah, look at this guy's abs. They're all, super happy.
Because it's the 70s, and they don't know any better.
Guys, go to talkmurder.com to see the video of Lake Sammamish. It's just a bunch of... It's kind of like what's happening during this time. This is 1974. It's beautiful out there right now. The Rainier Brewery is holding their annual beer bust. 40,000 people out there, plus the Seattle Police Athletic Association. That's why you see those cars. Look at that cop car. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So you see a lot of look at these cops, man. I wish they still wore that shit, like with the blue helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
look, a quartet, barbershop quartet. Whoa,
damn,
hello.
That guy's fucking ripped. Damn, look at that guy. Well, he doesn't really have that good abs, but
that's okay. You don't need to have like a 6-pack abs.
July 14th, 1974 was one of those glorious days. I'm quoting from a book that I haven't told you the name of yet. Was one of those glorious, brilliant days that Washingtonians look forward to during the endless rainy days of the winter and early spring. I don't know. I've never been there. Is it rain all the time there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with that
Pretty
freaking...
cloudy.
Well, how cold is it right now in freaking Washington?
I don't know about Washington.
Yeah, but it's like freezing in Chicago.
It's like negative 30
in
there.
Minnesota.
I was talking to somebody in Chicago yesterday morning, and he said it was negative 30 degrees, which means it was negative 50 with wind chill. And the schools are closed.
Negative. Oh, my God.
And he was driving the car for 20 minutes. He's a sales guy, so he was going on his appointments. And he, was in the car driving for 20 minutes. And the car, still at that point after 20 minutes of driving, could not fully, steer or brake.
Wow.
Jesus. Do we got any fans out there that are living in the cold right now?
Stay warm, guys.
Stay
Move
warm.
down to Charleston or come visit us.
Come down to Charleston, South Carolina.
Lots of blankets. And if you have friends, ask them to come over because then you can emanate body heat off of each other, which sounds gross, but the more people in the room,
like an orgy.
And hopefully, power doesn't go out, your pipes don't burst, strip your pipes.
Yeah, my sister, last week she lives in Newport, Rhode Island. It wasn't as cold as it is now, but her whole town lost heat. She had to go to a hotel.
Oof.
Guys, if you're stuck in the house, now would be a great time to join our Talk is Primo list and catch up the old episodes. We've had people email us that say they've listened to episodes. They just binged them from one.
It's awesome.
And for those people, I feel sorry for you, but thank you.
We've progressed quite a bit, so I appreciate if you have gone back and listened.
Yeah.
I mean, the quality was pretty good from the start, but now it's professional.
Now it's decent. Okay, the sky was clear blue, and temperatures crept up in the 80s before noon, threatening to hit 90. Ooh, I guess 90 in 1974 was really.
I mean, 90
hot. I think
is
it's over
hot.
100 here, all the time.
Also, in Washington, 90 is hot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Such days are not commonplace. Even summer in the Western Washington and Lake Sammamish State Park was packed to overflowing that Sunday. 40,000 people jockeying for a spot to spread their blankets and enjoy the sun, which if you guys go to talkmer.com, you can see the video. If you're talking Primo, see the video.
Mm-hmm.
Rare footage, 8mm.
And right now, our screen is currently frozen at Jen's hunk.
He is a hunk.
Also, John's, possibly.
All right.
Guy in the white shorts. That's all you need to look for, guys.
Okay, so there was a woman, Lake Sammamish. It's hot as hell. And right now you saw people. There's a lot of people. Everyone's just fighting over sand at the lake to get some sun. Mm-hmm. There's a woman, she just got there. And she was approached by a man. Now she's laying on the towel. So I'm thinking about in Isle of Palms, you're just laying on a towel and all of a sudden you're in the sun and all of a sudden it kind of goes black and you can someone's standing over you with their fucking shadow.
Or there's a cloud, but
it's just what the shit. Anyway.
I mean, when I'm at the beach, everyone's like, look away, look away.
No. Jen.
Whale watch.
Jen.
No.
It's a joke.
I'm
joke.
going to cut that. You want to cut that?
No.
Jen at talkmer.com. She is single. She's ready to mingle. And Jen, you know what? I see guys all the time fighting over you. And it's you just bat them away. It's too many. So the woman's saying, she's laying on the towel. She removes her glasses because some fucking asshole is in her sun.
Rude.
She kind of leans up and looks at this guy before she can even really see who it is in kind of a British Canadian accent. Excuse me, miss. I can't do this. British accent.
Excuse me, miss.
No, a little less. It's a slight British accent. Or Canadian. British or Canadian. Very slight.
Excuse me, miss.
There you go. Excuse me, miss, can you help me a minute? I need to load my sailboat on my car. Can you say that in like an accent?
No.
Excuse me. All right, so the man approaches. Excuse me, miss, can
And
you
he's
help
going
me
to
a
ask
minute?
a woman to help him with a sailboat?
Yes. Excuse me, miss, can you help me a minute? I need to load this sailboat on my car. Now, she takes her glasses off. The thing is, his arm is in a sling. His right arm is broken. It's slinged up. It's wrapped around his chest.
Jen was kind of right.
And it's the right arm, too. Most people are right-handed,
Yeah.
is literally broken in a sling. So,
How did he get it off of his boat then, or his truck then?
well, they talk, and she feels sorry for him. He is very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
He's very attractive. Why do you guys automatically think
attractive?
this is a serial killer?
Well, I don't understand how else, why else we'd be talking about
Who
this.
said he was a serial killer? Maybe he's just a single killer.
Single, yeah. So this guy's wearing white.
Oh my God, is it that guy? He's wearing white shorts?
No.
Oh, that'd be a bummer.
No.
This guy's probably like 80 now. I'm like, hey, buddy.
No, that guy's like 220 pounds. Like this guy, all right. Hey, she looks up. This guy is a little tall. He's like my height, like 5'10". They said he was tall, but this is in the 70s. I guess everyone that's 5'10" is tall. I guess people are taller now.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's 5'10". He's very good looking. Okay, he's wearing a white.
Like, describe him. You in old episodes, you used to make us picture another celebrity, like a.
I'll think of one.
Okay.
Like Matthew McConaughey?
Just give me a minute. White t-shirt. Now, prepped out to the max. White t-shirt, white shorts, white tennis shoes. It's like tucked in with a belt. He's wearing probably like Ray-Bans. He's got a white sling on. And he's a fucking good-looking guy. So she's like, what?
Matthew McConaughey.
No, I was gonna say, who's the little brother?
Dave Franco?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. Dave Franco, like a little Dave Franco.
Yeah.
Or Zac Efron.
No.
Dave Franco.
James Franco?
No, which one's the one that's on... Which one's the one that acts?
They both act.
I know, but the one that's more famous.
James
Not
Franco.
famous.
James is
The one that was on the interview.
James Franco.
Okay, I got one better.
What? Who?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Dennis.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, I don't think Dennis is really that attractive, though.
I think he's okay.
But he's very preppy.
Mhm.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'm
he
thinking of
walks
one
up to the
episode
lady.
in particular. Okay.
Now, she says she feels sorry for the guy. She's like, all right. But she feels sorry, but also he's like hot.
Sure,
So
I'll
she
help
follows him back to his
you.
car.
Do you need help, like... I'm not going to even finish that.
She follows him back to his car, and she's kind of like struck. She's like, where's the boat? You want me to load the boat on your car? Oh, no. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. The boat's just right up the hill at my parents' house. I just need help. We got to go up there. We got to load it. It only take a minute. They live right up the hill there. He kind of points to the hill. Then he kind of motions her to get into the passenger seat of his car. And then she's just, okay, this guy is hot. He's hurt. I just can't do it. I got friends back here. I'm sorry. You got to find someone else. She just gets weirded out.
Mm-hmm.
She goes back down to the sand. She lays back down, still kind of like, that was kind of weird. Maybe I feel bad. I should have helped him. She didn't think about it at all. An hour later at 12:30. So she just got back probably like 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago. She's laying down, about to fall asleep. She sees that same man in the distance walking with another girl to the parking lot trying to get help. I mean, he's got a broken arm. Why wouldn't he? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time
But it's weird he's only asking females.
Yeah.
Like, if he really wanted help, he'd be asking
He'd be
a
like,
big,
what up,
strong
bro?
man.
Well, I mean, it is the 70s. I mean, free love and all that shit's a real thing.
I'm just saying, if I were that person witnessing what's going on, I would think he's just trying to pick up a girl
Yeah.
and being sleazy. I wouldn't necessarily think serial killer, but I would think he's definitely hoping to get some action because he's got a broken arm and hoping to get some sympathy.
I mean, is that... Maybe he just...
Guys do shit like that.
Yeah, but maybe, I mean, that's not a bad thing. Maybe he's just...
What do you mean? It's not a bad thing. It's just like, I don't know, guys playing to their own weaknesses so women feel bad for them.
I mean, he's got a broken arm, though.
Or does he?
He's got his arm in a sling.
That doesn't mean he actually has a broken arm.
Why would you say that? I mean, he's got his arm in a sling. Well, maybe not broken,
I'm suspicious of why the character in this story has his arm in a sling.
So when I was in high school for Halloween one year, I dressed up as myself because I was so...
What the fuck?
Listen, no, because I'm so clumsy, so, like, I got a fake sling, and I, like, wore my softball uniform and, like, had, like, a sling. They're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm me, like, getting hurt after a softball game, because I always get hurt.
I remember April Fool's Day, and I think I was in 7th grade, our math teacher, who is, like, this, like, kind of scary guy, but he was kind of sarcastically funny. His name was Mr. Manning. And on April Fool's, he comes in with, like, crutches and, like, a full cast on one of his legs. And we're all like, oh, Mr. Manning, this is such an April Fool's joke, trying to call him out. And the whole day, he's deadpanning us like, this is not a joke, guys. Like, I seriously hurt myself, and you are, like, making fun of my broken leg. I can't believe you guys would do this, whatever. We're calling him out the whole day that it's April Fool's. And by the end of the day, we're like, all right, I guess he really broke his leg. And then at the very end of the day, and as the bell rings, we see him, like, cut the cast off, and he, like, chucks the crutches down the hall and starts walking around. And we're all like, what the hell, man? We told you this was wrong.
Yeah.
So by that point, we all believed him. We were so mad.
I actually did that on April Fool's Day. I was walking around with crutches one year when I was, like, in 7th grade.
That's kind of messed up.
I was a strange child. It's all right.
That's not strange. A lot of people do that, though.
Just like they say, never play around in wheelchairs.
I don't think that's that bad.
Playing around in wheelchairs?
No, the crutches thing.
Oh.
Because I think a lot of kids did that.
At 12:30, she looks up. She sees another girl walking with that same guy.
But she got suckered into going.
She didn't even think anything about it. She's like, whatever, this guy's a player. She doesn't think about it at all until the next day. And I'm going to show you why, but she reads the paper.
Uh-oh.
Now, that woman that was walking with that very attractive man in a white t-shirt, white shorts, and white tennis shoes was this woman, Janice Ott. Now, Janice Ott, very beautiful. She's 100 pounds, 5 feet tall, startling gray, green eyes, long blonde hair, even though it kind of looks...
She looks like a Brady.
Yeah.
Oh, she does look like a Brady.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, because of the hair's parted.
Marsha.
Do girls not do that anymore?
I part mine to the side.
Yeah, but hers
do
is like
too.
completely parted.
In the middle. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's not really a popular look right now, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think people mostly do it from the side. I part mine on the left side because I think it looks better, but sometimes I part it on the right, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that bad.
I always part it on the left.
Yeah.
All right, so Janice she graduated from Eastern Washington State University.
Jan Brady.
Now, her husband is actually away out of town designing prosthetics for handicapped people, prosthetic limbs and stuff like that.
What a guy.
Exactly. He's hundreds of miles away.
Are you thinking she was cheating on him?
No, she wasn't cheating on him, but here's what happened. She gets on her 10-speed bike. She makes the short trip down to Lake Sammamish. She wants a sun. Sammamish. She wants some sun. She's wearing like a white t-shirt that's got a bow in it. You know, not a bow.
Yeah,
like a tie in it. She's wearing some just cut off shorts and a black bikini. She strips that down when she gets there. She lays on a towel and she suns her buns. Suns her buns. Until that.
Have you been waiting to say that the whole episode?
No, I just thought of that. Suns your buns.
I never heard that before.
She was sunning her buns until that sun was blocked by this handsome individual wearing these white shorts, white tennis shoes, and white t-shirt. Excuse me, miss. I'm real sorry to bother you. You see, I'm kind of in a predicament here. My arm, I can't move it. I'm in a sling. I got this sailboat, and would you mind spending 5 minutes helping me load this on my car? Okay, sure. I mean, now I'm not saying she was lonely because her husband's been out of town for weeks, but maybe that did play into it.
Yeah.
The last thing anyone remembers seeing of her, besides her walking off, is the note that she left for a roommate. Now, she left a note for a roommate. I'm going down to Lake Sammamish. I'm a son of buns. She walks off. Now, she's pushing her bike towards the parking lot. And that's the last anyone's ever seen.
So does she pack up all of her, she packs up all of her stuff and goes to help this guy?
Well, she was really worried about her bike. She's got this nice 10-speed bike. She didn't want the bike to be stolen. So she's just walking with her bike, but all of her towel and everything's left there.
Nicole, you need a bike so we can all go on fun bike rides. We can go
Yeah,
on trails.
exactly.
I do want a bike.
A bike that you can take on the road, not a... She wants a Peloton bike. They're like $3,000.
No, I'll get the $500 bike.
Yeah, but you can't drive those everywhere.
But you can't drive them
Correct,
anywhere.
you can't drive them anywhere.
Besides on the court.
They are stationary.
You need one that we can ride together because I have a bike and I want to be more active and I'm more likely to go on a bike ride. If you guys are like, hey, Jen, we're going to go on a bike ride. You want to come? And I'd be like, yeah.
All right, I'll get a bike.
Okay, so Janice, they get to the parking lot. She doesn't see a sailboat. Oh, I should have mentioned that. I thought I mentioned this. You see, my sailboat's actually right up the hill at my folks' place, my parents' place, right up the hill in Issaquah. Issaquah is a little town right above. 5 minutes away. She was like, "Oh my God!" She came from Issaquah. That's where she rode her bike from. I'm from Issaquah, yada yada yada, and she was really animated. People saw her being really animated with this guy. She was really into him. Now she had her bike. So she wasn't worried about, well, I shouldn't just leave and go with this random guy. She was more worried about, I got this nice bike. Where am I going to put it if I go with you? Oh, there's room in the trunk. So that's the last time anyone's ever seen of her. That was at 12:30. She's gone. Okay, go to talkmurder.com to see the pictures. This is Denise Naslund. She was also at the beach that day. She is 18 years old.
She looks like Cher. A young Cher.
She does look like Cher, yeah. She's very pretty. Okay, so that girl that rejected this guy, she didn't even think about it until the next morning when she sees the paper with both of these women on the front page.
Oh, but 2 are missing.
Okay, so Denise, she's 18 years old, 120 pounds, dark hair, dark eyes. Yada, yada, yada. All right, so she goes to the lake to get that nice tan. Well, she doesn't really need a tan. Nice sun. She goes with her boyfriend and 2 other friends. They get there. They have a cookout. Now, her and her boyfriend get in a fight. So, but they quickly reconcile because people, I mean, there are witnesses around here. They make some hot dogs and the guys actually fall asleep. At 4:30, she goes to the restroom. She leaves her keys, her car keys. She leaves her sandals on a towel. She leaves everything. Her towel, her sandals, her purse, her makeup, everything. She goes to the restroom. You know, they have like those, like, not outhouses. But
Yeah, like the beach
brick,
restrooms.
yeah, the brick, not brick, yeah, the brick.
Yeah.
It's like brick walled restrooms or whatever. She goes there and she's never seen again. The last person that saw her was the woman that was in the next stall pee-peeing. That's the last woman that ever saw her. Gone off the face of the earth.
Someone when you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for beach and cookout season.
Oh, I know. I was just thinking, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get back on the beach.
I was like, oh man, I can't wait to have a hot dog.
We have to go to.
God.
We have to go. You know, we absolutely must do this year,
What?
as long as it works with your schedule.
What?
River Dogs game.
Yes.
Preferably the home opener,
Ooh, when's that?
because Bill Murray will probably be there
Oh yeah.
because he owns them.
Not like
And we can
I own
ask-
you. Like,
but-
but like he actually owns them.
We can maybe find out his secret phone number and ask him to come to our record on our podcast.
Yeah. I got the nachos, the everything but the kitchen sink nachos. They were like potato chips with pulled pork and guacamole and salsa. It was like they were so good. They were so good. That's what we should do on Sunday. Nachos. I can do that. I can do nachos.
Okay.
And buffalo chicken dip.
Can you do a meatless nacho? I just want to make sure there's enough.
I can do half and half, yeah.
Okay.
Both of these women on one day are completely
Wow.
missing. Both of them. Now, the paper from the Daily Chronicle that
Wait,
I'm
can
putting...
you go back to the, or Can you not go back to paper because it reveals too much?
No, I will. The paper that I'm reading is from 11 September 1974. I'm putting this on talkmurder.com. Police urge young women to be extremely cautious. Now, they have a police sketch of the guy because these women weren't seen again alive. They went out, this guy wearing a white shirt, white tennis shoes, white shorts, never seen again. 2 on the same day. Within hours of each other.
That's unheard of.
Now.
Yeah, 2 on the same day is interesting.
They go back and they talk to witnesses. Because, they go back that day because Denise Naslund, she went to her.
I was thinking you were thinking Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
Okay, Denise, she went to the bathroom. She was with her boyfriend. They were together for 9 months. She literally goes to the bathroom, the little girl's room, and she never comes back. Would she just ditch him? She's got her freaking purse there, her keys. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Now, they did have a dog with her, and the dog did kind of run off. So they were like, well, she may be going to get the dog, but they found the dog.
Okay.
They just never found her.
Oh, yeah. Something's bad.
Something's bad. Now, this is the time when you don't hitchhike because, there was a lot of murders going on.
Yeah.
Especially up in the Pacific Northwest. Like, California was, like, notorious for that.
Exactly.
Like,
we did the Green River one.
We had the Green River one.
Green River Runs Red, if you guys haven't heard of it.
Yeah. Then
Golden State Killer. Right around this time, too.
And also in California, you had the highway... the
Stranglers?
The Stranglers.
Yeah.
Is that what they were called? The highway stranglers? Or
the hillside stranglers.
The hillside stranglers. You had the Patrick Michael Kearney with his trash bag, the trash bag killer.
Yeah.
Like, you had all kinds of stuff. Like, the 70s were bad for murder. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone's like, peace and love, and like, drugs, and like... Manson, and like, all these happy things. Even though it seems like such this free time, like, they were really violent things that happened then. And there's violence all throughout history, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this podcast. But, like, when you think of 70s, you don't usually associate murder with them, but when you look closer, there were a lot of serial killers.
Yeah. Her boyfriend's like, something's wrong. Now, they go back and they interview any witnesses they can. Okay, like the first girl, this guy came up, and he was talking to a lot of women. Like probably half a dozen, even a dozen women getting rejected. The same thing. I got a broken arm. Can you please help me? Please, I'm sorry this is such inconvenience. Yeah, and you're right. I didn't even think about it. He didn't go up to any guys at all. Because if he had a boat to load, wouldn't a guy, I didn't even think about that.
Unless he was, like, asking them, obviously he didn't actually have a boat to load, but unless he was just going to ask them to, like, direct him in the, like turn left, turn,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even the guy in a sling can't do anything.
Yeah.
So he still would have needed another person.
Yeah.
The one thing that did keep coming up, the people on the other blankets, because they were right by, people saw what was going on. It wasn't weird, this guy hitting on a girl. They obviously knew. But, if he's a suspect.
But it was obvious.
Yeah, it was obvious.
And
so he's a suspect.
He probably kept coming back to that beach.
Yeah, exactly. So they did notice one thing. They get talking, chatting. And people overheard him say one thing. Oh, it's nice to meet you. My name is Ted.
Yes.
That's what he said. We're doing Ted Bundy tonight.
Oh my God, this is going to be a long night.
I could not hold
How
this.
How did you not get that?
I didn't know where he started. I didn't. I thought he was California.
Yeah. No.
I couldn't hold it any longer. This whole fucking time, I was like, fuck, I can't even do this story.
I was waiting for you to say it because, like, I knew, and I was like, I can't even react.
When you were saying the good-looking thing, I was like, I wonder, and then I tried to say Zac Efron, and you're like, no. And I was like, maybe
but
not.
But think about it.
I'm so excited.
Right, but I could see, what's his name, the little
Dennis,
brother.
Dave
Franco.
And Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis especially.
I'll show you the pictures of Ted Bundy. You probably know what he looks like.
Oh my God, I'm like, not only am I excited to just cut.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. We should watch that show now.
Well, you're gonna let me finish. You're not even coming off. I just said, you're going to let me finish. you didn't even let me cut me off. I can't even talk. I'm so exhausted. But that's okay. I'm excited. I don't know if I'm more excited to cover the story so we can have commentary on it, or excited because now not only can I watch the Netflix show, but I can also go see the movie when it comes out.
Yeah, we're all going to go see the movie when it comes out together.
I know, obviously, but if we hadn't covered it yet, then we couldn't go.
There's also a 2002 movie called Bundy that's really good. And we can watch that as soon as we've done this.
Oh my God, can we do it on Saturday?
I know.
Yeah!
Wait, when are we recording? Yeah, we can do that.
We were going to do a live stream at Saturday to talk, launch the website.
For you guys, if you notice, I was trying to hold this back. I couldn't really tell the stories because I didn't want to give it away. But we are doing Ted Bundy. This is not. I cannot cover this tonight. This is a two-parter.
All
Yay!
Right.
This is a two-parter. I mean, there's too much to this guy,
agree.
man.
I can possibly also record the second part Sunday night after I come back from church, or I can go to church early.
Sunday night's the game.
You want to go to church and then record a podcast about Ted Bundy?
so we should.
I'm going to church on Saturday night at 6.
You do not know what this guy has done.
So,
but I am so excited. And John, you were so mad at me as soon as I figured it out because I was like, yes, and he was like, shut up, Jen, except he didn't say that. He only said it with his eyes because I know that shut up, Jen, look with your eyes. And I was trying to make eye contact with Nicole, but I was like, you can't spoil this for her because he'll never forgive you.
Well, I will be totally honest, though. I actually don't know a ton about Ted Bundy. I really don't. I don't know a lot. This is kind of crazy now that we do a serial killer or killer podcast, murder podcast. But I never really paid too much attention to the details of what happened with these famous killers, like the Green River Killer, the Hillside Stranglers, Ted Bundy.
But do you remember Ted Bundy helped catch the Green River Killer?
Yes,
remember that? Okay.
I do recall that.
That's when I realized when he was Washington, and then I was like, oh yeah.
So the only thing that I know very little about Ted Bundy except that he is was a very good looking guy, very personable, and I do know something about a sorority house.
Also,
and then he had a wife and kids.
Before we start delving more into the story, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna make this one last comment. The movie that's coming out with Zac Efron is actually pretty controversial because it portrays, it's more of a comedic drama. Because it portrays the relationship that he had with one of the girls, and instead of focusing on the victims and justice for the victims, that's what I've read so far.
Yeah,
interesting. But I do want to
see it.
Yeah, they're going to say
I hope that they put it out at Cinnabar.
They're going to say that just to get press.
I kind of don't because I don't like the Cinnabar popcorn. Sorry, I love popcorn. It's my favorite part of a movie.
There's a 2002 movie called Bundy that is a documentary / dark comedy. It's really good. It's a really good movie.
I can't
And I don't know if Zac Efron could beat that. I mean, I don't know why they're doing another one. I guess because I don't know.
Because true crime is big right now.
Yeah.
But
why do you think we're doing what we're doing?
Oh, yeah. So a lot of people are Zac Efron is, he's a great actor and he probably does a really good job. Maybe he's romanticizing.
He does kind of look like him.
He's
I was
romanticizing
surprised.
Ted
he's
Bundy.
Not as tall as Ted Bundy, though. He's a couple inches shorter, actually. He's only 5'8".
Yeah. Well, Ted Bundy, I'm telling you, when I went into this, I'll be like, wow, this is so fun. This is the worst serial killer I have ever,
he's
this one.
Really?
He is a fucking nightmare.
There's actually a documentary on Reels as well, which is obviously, we don't have cable, but, there's this channel called Reels. It does a lot of celebrity profiles, kind of breaking of the band, which is making the band different. But it's a really cool channel that I also love, which I have kind of. I also like that as opposed to the true crime, except sometimes I can't. It doesn't go it doesn't work on my app, so that's But we can put that on. I recorded it when I was home over Christmas, but I didn't watch it. So I think I have that saved. I might be able to. We can pull that.
Oh yeah, that'd be good to watch too.
All right, I started in 1974. Now there were 7 other people that went missing before these two. This was one day. Okay.
So these are numbers 8 and 9.
This guy was Ted Bundy. He goes up wearing.
Hi, I'm Ted.
Hi, I'm Ted.
Have you met Ted?
Yeah. So I want to say the newspapers. If you go to talkmurder.com, I'm posting all the newspaper headlines. The only thing that was on the title was like, who is, quote, Ted, like everyone.
Whoa.
It was a national sensation. Ted was everywhere. So this is from the Seattle Times, Thursday, August 1st, 1974. Evergreen officials seek information about, quote, Ted. Now I'm putting this news clipping on talkmurder.com.
Have you met
Quote,
Ted?
Ted, end quote, is being sought in the connection with the disappearance of Miss Janice A. Ott, 23 of Issaquah, from Lake Sammamish State Park on July 14th. There is also a suggestion that he may have something to do with Denise M. Naisland, 18 of Seattle, who mysteriously vanished from the park the same day. Now, they already put a reward to find this missing Ted that has no one knows who it is, but the media took this as almost a viral buzzword. Quote, Ted. It was so, like, mysterious.
That's crazy because he did end up becoming one of the most famous.
Exactly.
names.
But the thing is, all right, when we talk about monsters these days, and like serial killers, you think about just
Gruesome.
Mm-hmm. You look at Ted.
So unassuming.
If Ted comes up to you, a sling on his arm, oh, excuse me, miss. In his like British Canadian accent, wearing preppy clothes, tucked in on the beach. He's tan. He's 160 pounds. He looks good.
And he's Zac Efron.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but
now he's Zac Efron,
yeah,
not Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
Is Zac fucking Efron comes up to you on the beach? I'm sorry, man. Like, holy shit.
Well, John will also go.
It's like hard.
I don't know. Zac Efron, he just dyed his hair like platinum blonde, and I am not here for it.
I don't like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you're not going to say, oh, he's going to abduct me and then murder me.
No.
If he had platinum blonde hair, he might.
This guy never gets laid, and he's probably going to fulfill that with me. No, you're not going to think that. You're going to think this guy can get any girl he wants.
And he's picking me.
And I'm going to help him because
I want to get some.
Yeah, and he's wearing a sling. All right, so these are here's another article. These are detectives. Police at work on two bizarre cases. Now, these aren't the first women to go missing.
These are awesome newspaper articles.
Can you go back to that picture?
Sure.
Look at the chalkboard.
That's crazy.
Like, that's so long ago.
Yeah.
What, the fact that they had chalkboards, not whiteboards?
And they couldn't just type it up, and they had to, like, write it and then, like, erase the whole thing and then rewrite the whole thing.
The great thing about this case, I shouldn't say great thing because there's nothing great about it, but there is so much documentation on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the video, like the 8mm video, good luck trying to find that.
Was that the actual beach and place where he was?
This is the beach on the day.
Is he here? Is he in the picture?
Okay, good.
Can we go back?
Yes.
Shut the front door.
They have found, not him, there are
girl?
people recently, within the last year, that have scoured this video. They haven't found him, but they found his car. Do y'all guys know what car he drives?
It was like
it's a bronze metallic beat up VW Bug. That is in, and I'm going to show you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'll put that on talkmurder.com. Our Talkers Primos can see that.
That's crazy.
This is the actual bug that Ted Bundy, now he drives a VW Bug. My dad used to have one of these, and I used to love driving this thing.
Oh, wow.
That is the bug. I don't know if you can see the rack on the car. He did have a rack, so it would appear that, a boat would go on there, but there was no boat.
Huh.
That is his bug. It's a metallic bug.
Wow, that's his car.
Yeah. So this is his actual car. This was in the Museum of Crime and
Where is that? Can we go?
This was in 2011. I don't think the exhibit's on there anymore, but it's probably floating around somewhere.
Wow.
That's the bug. I love these handcuffs.
Is that rust or blood?
This is rust. So when he bought it, it was pretty brand new. But think about it. The bugs in the 70s, everyone had a bug. So
yeah.
Look at the look at the
like the rope.
The rope is handcuffs.
Now, if you guys know much about bugs, the engine is in the back. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you put all your stuff in the front. My dad used to have one. We used to drive it all the time. It's a really fun car. It's, like, complete metal, though. If you, like, get in a wreck, it literally would just crush you like a compactor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I want to find a crime museum. I think that would be a really fun field trip for us.
I agree.
If you guys know of a crime museum, let us know where we can go and find some stuff. That would be, I would love that, actually.
There's way too many victims to even... I'm going to tell you right now, he confessed to 33 or 34. They're most likely over 100. Okay?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he went on a motherfucking rampage.
I didn't realize that it was up to that much.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's way up there. But I'll get into this, but he really never confessed. We'll get into
so
that.
if he, if the number for him was that high, then why was he so motivated to make sure the Green River Killer stopped right then and there before he got to 50?
Because
he didn't he wanted to be the most prolific.
Not only the notoriety, but Ted Bundy was on death row, and anything he did not want to die. Anything he could do to prolong his sentence, he would do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And working with the police was one way that he could not be executed right then. Now, he eventually was, and we'll get into that. Let's get on with this. So, the day at the beach, what kind of guy would... I mean, it can't be one guy. I mean, you would abduct somebody. You would abduct Janice. Mm-hmm. And then you would go back 4 hours later and abduct another girl, Denise. I mean, what would you like if you're a sexual psychopath? And I mean, are you just not getting it all out? Why would you go back and get another victim? Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense. So the cops were like, because this type of serial killer, a sexual psychopath, had never really existed before. Mm-hmm. Like a psychopath. And even like Paul Bernardo isn't like a sexual psychopath.
Right.
A sexual psychopath has to like do sexual acts like we have to eat food. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like he has to get it done.
Yeah.
The thing is, they were thinking, well, this has got to be some kind of satanic cult or some kind of weird occult organization. It can't be one guy. There's not one guy that came back 4 hours later, got another victim, strangled, raped, and then disposed the body. That's... Like, no serial killer does that. That's not...
Right.
And that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the witnesses said, yeah, there was this one guy. He was wearing all white. He was really handsome. Now, when they went to describe... Some witnesses went to describe for the police sketch artist, you know, what does this guy look like? You have any unique features? Because the sketch artists say, look for, like, if he has a big nose, they'll play it up. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. How are you going to describe
classic features?
A guy that looks like 20,000 other guys on the beach that day? Right. I don't know. He's tall. He's dressed nice. He looked like he's well educated. He's handsome. Okay. So was that guy that was throwing that barrel, you know, in that video?
Yeah.
They all looked the same. There was no like underlying features that you could.
Distinctive.
Exactly. We're going to backtrack a little bit. We're still in Washington. That was July 14th, 1974. So we're going to be reading from probably one of the most best-selling true crime books that has ever existed, other than Truman Capote's book, In Cold Blood, which I haven't read yet.
But we have it.
Yeah.
I need to read it. I think I got like the limited edition copy or something. I don't know. This is The Stranger Beside Me by Ann Rule. Now, Ann Rule is a very famous crime author. Like half those books I got are by her.
Writes a lot.
Now, the thing about this book, you're thinking The Stranger Beside Me. Okay, what does that mean? Like maybe she worked on the case? No, she was actually really good friends with Ted Bundy.
Wow, really?
Ann Rule?
Before, yes. In fact,
holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The thing that makes this case so fucking crazy that I'm going to try to stress to you guys is no one would, even all the evidence pointed towards Ted, Theodore Bundy, even Ann Rule, one of the best friends of him, was like, no, it's not Ted.
Was she a crime writer at the time, or did this make her a crime writer?
Well, she was working with the police. She was an officer, but she worked with Ted Bundy. She became friends with him because they both worked in a suicide prevention hotline together.
Okay, wow.
Whoa.
He was saving lives.
And then
people would call in. And in fact, was weird. He actually wrote a pamphlet, which I would love to get a copy of. It's probably way out of existence now.
Right.
Of targeted towards women of how the safety precautions you can take to not get abducted and raped.
Wow,
and he wrote that
creepy.
during the same time he was abducting and raping women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it like actually helpful, or was he playing?
Yeah, it was helpful. I mean, he knows best. Anyway, Anne Rule worked with him, and they were really good friends.
Wow.
And in fact, in the book, she loses touch with Ted Bundy because he moves, as we'll talk about, he moves out of Washington, and Anne Rule actually calls the police, the detective, and says, listen, I know this is a long stretch, but all these police sketches and stuff, they look eerily similar to this guy I know. It's probably not him, because this guy would never do that. But,
wow,
here's his name, Theodore Bundy.
What?
Could this be him? Yeah. And other people, the thing about this case is there were so many people that said, this is the guy. He is a dead ringer.
Yeah.
But this Ted Bundy, the thing, I'm going to get into this.
We're just like, there's no way.
Ted Bundy, his appearance aside, he was a law student. He had a degree in psychology. He worked for the Republican campaign, and he was very successful.
Wow.
This guy is going places. He's not out there murdering women and running from police. Like, that isn't happening. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
But Anne Rule, she was like, all right, when she contacted the police, she was like, just do a background check and just make sure he doesn't own a VW Bug, because the VW Bug got really popular. Just make sure he doesn't own a VW Bug. I used to drive him around everywhere. He probably doesn't even have a car. She got called back 20 minutes later. Yeah, he does own a bug.
What?
Yeah.
And she was probably like,
She was like, yeah, her jaw dropped. Like, she was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Can
I see the cover again?
Yeah. So this is the new edition cover. The old.
You know who
edition.
else could play him? Penn Badgley. Who is
You don't think
starring
the
in
guy
Untold.
from Always Sunny?
No,
Dennis?
he could. He definitely
He could.
But doesn't he?
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah.
This is Anne Rule, a picture in her book right there. That was at a
Oh,
crime,
wow.
working with Ted. So it was a little small office, and they would just take calls about, people
That's
trying to kill themselves.
Wild.
All right, a couple months back, before 1974, this was February 1st, 1974.
Wow. It's February 1st.
Yeah, so... Oh, is it?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
like
shit.
in
2 hours.
2 hours.
All right, Linda Ann Healy, which I'll show you a picture in a minute. Linda Ann Healy
Is the movie coming out tomorrow?
No,
his
it already
anniversary?
came out. What came out?
The movie, the one with Zac Efron. I think
It's already out. It's already out.
Well, it was in the Sundance Film Festival, so I'm not sure. They don't know when it's going to be released in theaters yet.
Oh.
Or like to what theaters, if at all.
We can watch the Bundy movie. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really hard to describe. Like, I've done a lot of research on this guy, and it's like,
I'm sure.
I can't even get it. He's so different than anyone else. Okay, now I'm showing you a picture of Linda Ann Healy. She was a University of Washington senior, last seen January 31st in a Seattle home.
That's today.
That is today.
Yeah.
She shared a home with 4 women. She had, if you see, her bedroom is in kind of the basement of basically a sorority house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was what they found. They found blood spots on the pillow. She was completely gone. She wasn't the type to just leave. But this is what they found, all the blood stains they found on her pillowcase.
Can we go back a little bit before we talk about this? Because how did he get to a sorority house? I'm confused.
Okay, so Ted Bundy was in college at the time. During all these killings, 1974, he was 27 years old. Let me start at the beginning. I can't jump around like this.
No.
This guy's too... All right. Ted Bundy, let me talk about Ted Bundy. He was born November 24th, 1946. He was born to a woman that was out of wedlock, Eleanor. Now, it's speculated that his father is also the father of Eleanor, his mother. So her father basically impregnated his daughter, and then they gave birth to Ted. Now that has never been proven, but that is what is highly...
Which is why incest can never lead to good
Yeah.
things.
I'd never heard that.
I hadn't either.
Now, Ted right when he was born, they moved in with Ted's grandparents because Eleanor wasn't going to be able to raise him by herself. So they moved in with his grandparents. The thing about
Who
that...
ended up being her grandparents, not
her
parents.
grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
His grandparents.
With his grandparents. So her
possible
yeah, exactly.
father
Now
/ his father.
From this point until he's 14 years old, he believes that his mother, Eleanor, is actually his sister.
Which it could be.
And his
mom /
his mom and dad, well, his grandparents are actually his mother and father.
How old was his mother when she had him?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that.
Because she had to have been somewhat young.
Yeah, she was real young, probably 16. Yeah. At age 3, maybe this is a sign of things to come. This is 1949. Age 3, his aunt wakes up. Like, think about it, just like, what the fuck? And seeing your nephew grinning at you with these blank eyes, just like completely out of reality. And then you wake up and you're like, Ted, what are you doing? And then you kind of lean up. And she had, in a circle around her body, kitchen knives pointed towards her body.
What?
And he's sitting there grinning with a smile on his face. And he's like not even in the world. Like he's so far disconnected. And the knives were pointing at his
Oh my God,
aunt.
spawn of Satan.
That's age 3.
What? How do you even... What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. At age 4, they moved to Tacoma, Washington, where she changes the family name from Corwell because he was born Theodore Robert Corwell, or Cowell. Theodore Robert Cowell. She changes that for some unknown reason, no one ever knew, from Cowell to
Bundy.
Nelson.
Okay.
Oh.
But when he was 5, she married Johnny Bundy, Johnnnie, and then his son takes his stepfather's last name. Now, Johnny, his stepfather, and Ted never got along, but Ted always tried to bond with him. And it is speculated, even though Ted never talked about it in the police interviews and anything like that, he always, if you'll see a lot of police interviews in part 2, like we're going to go through a lot of them. He'll say something, and like any psychopath, you'll believe him.
Yeah.
But if you really dig into his past, it's not the truth.
Right.
Like he's almost saying it, and it's not even real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's speculated that he was abused by Johnny, his stepfather.
Sexually?
I don't know sexual, but just probably beaten. Now, at age 14, this is when things may have spawned. Now, Ted, in one of the interviews, he says when he had to go see a psychiatrist, the psychiatrist was trying to pinpoint that exact moment that made him who he was. And Ted was like, that's so bullshit. There's not one moment, but there is one moment that he has talked about to multiple people. And that is when he was 14. And that is when his family, his stepfather and his mother said, I'm not your sister. I'm your mother.
Wow, what the fuck?
And think about that. You're 14 years old and now like your whole like world is just completely flipped.
Number one, like I can understand, like that's something that happened, I think, back then, especially with young mothers. But like
people still say that today.
Yeah, but especially with young mothers. But I don't know if I would reveal that to my child. Like he had the right to know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that just fucks you up. Like I don't know if I would say anything if I was in that situation.
I feel like in those situations where the parent decides to divulge that information, it's more about them clearing their conscience than it is to help the child.
Yeah.
Like, I think they are thinking like, oh my gosh, I need to get this secret off my chest. It'll be so good for all of us.
Right.
In reality, it's probably only good for you.
Right.
All right, guys, let's go kind of through the timeline. We're at talkmore.com. We're going to look at the timeline. So this is his childhood home right here.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty color house. I like that color.
Yeah.
Very quaint.
So when he was growing up, now this is from his teens, like age 11 through 17, he was stealing a lot of shit. He was getting in trouble, but he never really had anything to stick. Now, Ted Bundy never had a criminal record. I want to point that out. I'll tell you when he gets a criminal record, but the whole time he was a teenager, he was stealing all kinds of stuff. And it may be because
was he like a klepto?
I don't know. He was just
acting out,
I guess. Now he graduates. That's him in high school right there. Pictures of talkmare.com. He graduates.
So the unibrow.
He tweezed his unibrow.
Yeah. So he graduated.
It doesn't look like him.
He graduated at Woodrow Wilson High School in Tacoma, Washington. Now, upon his graduation, he immediately started stealing more and more and more. He's 18 years old. He's a kleptomaniac. At fall in 1965, at 18, he rolls in Puget Sound, but he only takes classes there for a year. Then he goes to the University of Washington until he gets his psychology degree. Now, he's a very good student. Ted Bundy is really smart. Throw it out there.
Yeah.
Some say he's a genius. I don't think so, because if he was a genius, he wouldn't use his name Ted on the fucking beach.
Agreed.
But then again, I think he's in a different mindset, which we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, I'll get into that. But I think there's something...
Autism, maybe?
Yeah.
Asperger's?
A lot of the victims that, let's say the ones that didn't go with Ted, because he talked to a lot of women, they would say after she said no, he would just stand there and stare at them. But it wasn't like he was just like, I'm staring at you, fuck, what the fuck? It was just like he wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's weird to talk about. So, this is the thing right here. Spring 1967, he meets this girl right here. Her name is Stephanie Brooks. Now, this has a profound impact on his life because at the age of 21, she breaks up with Ted Bundy. Now, Stephanie Brooks is a very, very, very high-class girl. She comes from a very rich family.
Is she the one that the movie centers around, the relationship that the movie centers around, I think?
I think so. She comes from a very high net worth, high-class family. And Ted grew up illegitimate, and he grew up from, a family that didn't really have money. Now, you see Ted on the beach wearing nice polo, kind of what I wear, polo shirts, and nice white tennis shoes, nice Ray-Bans. He's got a sailboat. Ooh. I mean, this guy came for money, obviously.
Yeah.
That's not true. Ted Bundy didn't come from any money at all. In fact, he was broke. I mean, he's never really ever hit financial success. He was just really good at acting like it. That's the thing. So Stephanie Brooks was actually from a high net worth, high class family.
And he wanted to be a part of that.
And he wanted to be a part of that. So, but it doesn't ever work because he can't get along with a family that he's not really a part of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they ended up breaking up, but that had huge impact on Ted. Huge. And in fact, you'll see as we go through victim to victim to victim to girl to girl to girl to girl. If I just randomize all these victims, put them in a shuffle, you wouldn't know who's who because they all look like his first girlfriend. Every one of them look like her. They all have some sort of resemblance to her.
I can definitely see the resemblance to the blonde girl you showed us, for sure.
They all have a resemblance to her. So
and it might not be the same thing, but somehow it reminds him of her.
Yeah.
Wow.
So think about that.
That's
when
fucked.
we go through now I'm not going to get into gruesomeness until part 2. We are going to get in really gruesome shit, but I don't want to get into that right now because I want to get the personality out of the way before we get into that. And I don't really want to get into gruesome shit anyway, but
you have to with Ted Bundy.
This,
we're getting to know you, getting to know all about Ted Bundy.
No, it's not Moana.
That is
it's My Fair Lady.
Although I will say, we were in Lowe's the other day, and we were buying a whole bunch of stuff. And what's the song from Moana?
Which one? They all sound the same.
Don't say that.
Oh
no, I mean Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote
Every
the
breath
soundtrack.
I take, every da da da. What's the song? It caught me, and then I know
How far it goes.
Yeah, John
Yes.
recognized immediately that it was the Moana song.
I have to say, Lin-Manuel Miranda, he is a genius, but he wrote the soundtrack he wrote all the music for Moana.
Loved Moana.
And if you listen very closely, you can actually hear a resemblance between Moana's music and Hamilton.
I don't know Hamilton's music,
Well,
unfortunately.
You know, I can help you with that, but it's also a shame that you don't. But I won't hold it against you.
I'm just not really into musicals, but I do like Disney musicals.
It's a whole thing. Like, give it a chance.
I would totally watch it if I could.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
See, but the soundtrack, you don't need to, like, the soundtrack is the show. So I can lend you the soundtrack.
But I'm a visual person.
All right, we'll find a bootleg. I'll watch it with you.
All right. Fair enough. Deal.
We're shaking on it.
Deal.
And it's on video, on podcast, on audio.
But yeah, John really liked Moana.
It was a good movie. I like that song.
It's good. I love that The Rock plays that guy. It's perfect.
Yeah.
What can I say except you're welcome?
That's right. He's so
All
funny.
right. So this is what Ted Bundy tells Anne Rule about his illegitimacy. Quote, I'm illegitimate. When I was born, my mother couldn't say that I was her baby. I was born in a home for unwed mothers, and when she took me home, she and my grandparents decided to tell everyone that I was her brother and that they were my parents. So I grew up believing that she was my sister, that I was a, quote, late baby born to my grandparents. So he's confessing this to her. Now, they just met at the crime center. This is definitely weighing on him throughout his entire life.
sure.
Yeah. He says this when they just met?
About, like a week later.
See, but like the way that he words that, like, I don't know. It's so.
It's weird. You're right. I agree. Like the way maybe it's just her recapping it that way, but it sounds like kind of strange.
Yeah.
At 19, he enrolls in University of Washington. He graduates there with a psychology degree. That's when he meets Stephanie Brooks. They break up. In early 1969, at age 21, he visits his birthplace and learns for certain, because, all right, I said that he found out he was illegitimate at 14.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back at 21 and confronts his mother and is like, tell me the truth. That is when they all laid it out. Yes, probably showed birth certificates or whatever. You're illegitimate. So that was on his mind.
And
for 7 years.
And your
wow.
grandfather is your father.
Yeah.
Who is your mother.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're talking about Ted Bundy. It's not like we're talking about like our neighbor Skip or anything like that. Like, but when, especially incest, especially with a father and daughter, like you would imagine there would be some sort of genetic, like, abnormality to the child because of the way that the chromosomes, it's like half of your chromosomes are from your father and half are from your mother. So like, I don't know. It, like if in his mother, half of her chromosomes are the same exact half from her. I don't know. So like he doesn't look like
but
that
mentally.
he was. Yeah, I mean, obviously mentally, it sounds like there is some sort of abnormality. And like I said, we're talking about a serial killer. So, but I don't know.
They break up. Stephanie Brooks breaks up with him when he's 21. He re-enters the University of Washington, and that's where he meets Liz Kendall. Now, he took a little break from Washington. He goes back. He meets this girl named Liz, who they begin dating, and she will be with him throughout most of the murders. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. This is not related to this specific sentence. I just thought of it. Can you please cut this in, Future John, to the beginning of the podcast when we're giving our shout outs to Nikki MF, who recently got engaged.
And she's pregnant.
Oh.
She's pregnant?
I think so.
Oh.
Nice.
Well, I didn't see that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Nikki.
I don't have Instagram, so I don't know any of this stuff. But congratulations, definitely.
Thanks for being a true taco, and hope everything's going well. Okay,
in 1972, I told you that Ted Bundy was working for the Republican campaign. He actually worked for Nelson Rockefeller's presidential campaign in 1968. And after that, the successful re-election of Washington Governor Dan Evans. Now, here is a video, a very, very rare interview with Ted Bundy in 1972 of him. Now, he was accused of spying on the Democratic convention or whatever. I'm not a politician. I don't know. He was accused of spying on the Democrats for the Republicans. He's a Republican. And in fact, Ted Bundy had like all the anti-war, 70s kind of things. He had a very strong stance against that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a Republican. So.
An official for the Republican gubernatorial candidate was accused of political spying.
It's hard for me to believe that what I did is newsworthy. And my part in the campaign was so insignificant, I'm embarrassed that I should be getting this publicity from it. Really embarrassed.
Look at him smile. He's embarrassed, but look at him smile. He loves it. He loves it. I'm telling you.
I didn't know that he had a unibrow, and that really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Liz Kendall was his girlfriend throughout most of the murders. Now,
maybe that's the one that story's about.
He breaks up with, or Stephanie Brooks breaks up with him at age 20. He is
devastated.
He's devastated. I mean, Ted Bundy cannot handle rejection from a woman. I want to say he re-enters at 22. It took him basically 2 years to get his life back together. But he re-enters the University of Washington with a sense of drive and purpose, and I'm going to do this, and he kills it. I mean, he was top of his class. Well, literally. Well, he hasn't killed yet. He hasn't killed yet, even though there is speculation that he may have committed his first murder at 14.
Huh.
That has never been, well, the speculation is that he may have killed an 8-year-old girl, but that has never been proven. That is literally some fucking theory I found out there, but I mean, who knows, maybe. So he returns with a sense of purpose, and he becomes an honor student. Now, that's when he gets involved in politics, as you saw him there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he was so, he got caught spying, and he's just smiling. I mean, you look at that guy, you can't put that guy in prison for anything. He's a natural politician. That guy could smile his way to anything.
But looking at it from our point of view, when he said, I can't believe that I'm embarrassed to say that what I've done is newsworthy, just his smirk where I just wanted to punch him right in the mouth.
Yeah, but because him now.
Because I know who he is. You know what I mean?
But back then you'd be like, oh my God. I want to say that the Chris Watts episode, if you guys haven't listened to that, Monster and Your Mistress, Chris Watts right now is getting a lot of fan mail. Yeah. But Ted Bundy on death row was getting 200 letters a day.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Chris Watts doesn't get anywhere near that. Not that that's good.
Right.
Because that's a sick topic that I definitely want to dive in and try to wrap my head around why so many women are sending fan mail to serial killers.
It's like that guy that went to prison, the hot criminal.
Oh, yeah. And
now he has a modeling contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the guy with the eyes.
Yeah.
Like blue eyes.
Yeah.
So he finally...
Make better choices.
At 26, he graduates
university. Also, what do we value in this society?
Yeah. Obviously, it's all physical now, but what do I know?
At 26, he graduates University of Washington. He's got a psychology degree. He's making ends meet. At one point, he was a security guard in the college campuses, the University of Washington security guard. He was working at suicide prevention.
Also
He's trying to fund his way through school and keep, his head above water. He never really makes any money. But the one thing I guys want you to know is just because he doesn't have the money, you won't look at Ted Bundy and say he doesn't have money. You'll go to his apartment and you'll be like, damn, he's got a brand new TV. It's stolen. And he's got all these he's got like he would go to hotels and steal their decor plants. You know, the plants in front of the freaking lobby.
How did he even get those out of the building?
They would be like in front of the doorway. He would just shove them into his VW Bug and then put them in his apartment because Ted Bundy is all about appearances. Mm-hmm. That's what he knew so well. He knew the first appearance, seeing him. If he can just get you to just think he comes from wealth and education.
And that's why he shaved his unibrow.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So he graduates.
Maybe he tweezed it.
Yeah.
During a business trip, he goes back and guess who he meets? Now, he shows up. Stephanie Brooks didn't know he was coming. He kind of just surprised her.
Oh.
But she was very impressed by his change. Now, you're working with the Republican campaign. You've been on the news. You got your shit together. You're looking great. Mm-hmm. You got a degree in psychology. She fell for him again. Boom. Okay, that was 1973. But 1974, a year later, he just stopped seeing her altogether. And she doesn't know why. In his head, he won.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to break up with me?
Yep.
You're going to break up with motherfucking Ted Bundy? Okay. I'm going to go and I'm going to make myself something and I'm going to come back and I'm going to woo you and you're going to fall for me and then I'm just going to stop talking to you. That's exactly what was in his mind. You know? Mm-hmm. His drive in college, the reason he did so well in college was to become something he wasn't, to get back with this girl and then to literally just abruptly stop seeing her. 1974, January 5th.
She's lucky, though, that he stopped talking to her. So she did herself a favor by breaking up with him.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as she made it out alive. I don't know if she was one of his victims. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we don't know that yet.
No, she was not one of the victims.
Oh, okay. Well, then...
But every girl thereafter looked just like her.
So it's interesting that he didn't take her as a victim.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Actually, after they broke up, she never heard from him again.
Wow.
The satisfaction for him with her was to get her to fall in love with him again, this new me, and then just break it off. Because he cannot stand rejection. When she broke up with him, he lost. When they got back together and then he just says, I ain't even going to answer your phone calls anymore. He won. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he wanted to be the rejector, not the rejectee.
Yeah. That was his motivation. And that's his motivation for a lot of things. Now, the first attempt of murder was a girl named Joni Lenz. Joni Lenz was probably one of the first victims. Probably because he never really admitted to anything else. Near the University of Washington, in the basement of a huge house, the night of January 4th, I'm going to get you to read this. This is what happened to Joni Lenz to try to get you to understand. Now, this is his first. This is his first attempt.
Joni Lenz, 18, had gone to sleep as usual in her room, a room located in the basement accessible from the outside by a slide door that was usually kept locked. When she didn't appear for breakfast the next morning, her housemates assumed that she was sleeping in. By mid-afternoon, however, they went down to check on her. Joni didn't respond to their calls, and as they approached her bed, they were horrified to see that her face and hair were covered with clotted blood. She was unconscious. Joni Lenz had been beaten with a metal rod wrenched from the bed frame, and when they pulled the covers away, they were stunned to see that the rod had been jammed viciously into her vagina, doing terrible damage to her internal organs.
Oh my God.
But she survived.
Whoa. Oh.
She survived. This
is going to sound awful, but at that point, I don't know if I'd want to survive.
Yeah.
She did beat the odds, and in Ann Rowell's book, she said she survived, but she had no memory of the events from 10 days before the attack until she awoke from her coma.
Wow.
And she was left with brain damage that will stay with her for the rest of her life.
Damn.
That was his first attempt. Now, obviously, he thought she was dead, but from then on...
There were no more mistakes left. There were no more mistakes.
No, the body... Well, yeah, but the body was never left there.
Yeah.
He starts developing a technique. he's known as a co-ed killer. He would go in, because he's a college student, he would go into all these universities. I don't know if you guys know much about Ted Bundy.
No, not really.
He would kill these co-ed girls, 18 to 22 max. But how are you going to go into a sorority house?
You're a frat boy.
How are you just going to walk in a sorority house and abduct someone without anyone knowing?
You have to befriend them.
Or
he knows them already?
No. He didn't know. The thing about Ted Bundy, he has no connection to any of them. He would go in there and take them out of the room. Now, how would he do that? Well, he would take a crowbar, and when they're sleeping, he'd hit you one time over the head with it. I mean, you're unconscious.
Yeah.
Like, what, are you going to scream? No. He picks you up, takes you out, and then you're never seen again. That's what happened with Linda Haley. The crime scene photos I'm showing you now. This is her bed. So this is, I'm showing them a picture of the blood on the bed. That's where she was hit. So the instant blood, she is taken out of the room and she is never seen again, except when her bones resurface after someone finds them. She lives in the basement, or she lived in the basement of this sorority house. It was, home. I'm showing on the small basement window, which he actually crawled in. Boom, hit her in the head with the crowbar, drug her out.
Was he like stalking these women to know where they lived, like, or was he pretty like random?
Because if they all resembled his ex-girlfriend, then how did he find them?
He would stalk them, but they were mostly random. Remember the beach? He talked to at least a dozen women, probably even more than that. So, I mean, how much stalking do you got to do per each one?
This almost makes me want to get bars on my windows.
Plus, here's the thing about Ted Bundy. I'm going to tell you story after story after story, like the beach, that he would go do this in a freaking broad daylight. In one story I'm going to tell you, he was at a hotel with other guests, hundreds of guests in this conference, this medical conference, and he talked to people going in and out of the elevators, and he still managed to get one of the girls out.
Oh my God.
He's doing that. He's not saying, I got to be quiet and do this.
I'm presenting at a conference this month, and now I'm terrified.
No, all right. The one thing I want you guys to learn from this, all our talkers, listen, this story should freak you out, because it's not just, you're walking down this abandoned alleyway and it's dark and then someone jumps out. Like, this is happening. Like, this guy would abduct you from the beach, from the mall. I'm going to talk about a mall incident. I'm going to talk about a hotel incident. This is places.
From your bed.
You wouldn't ever think about this guy could abduct anyone, because he's talking to people going down the hall. And they're looking at him smiling, hey, how are you? Great to see you. Oh, he's a good-looking guy. And all of a sudden, he just takes a random woman out, the crowbar, throws her in his bug, and drives off. This should make all women scared. And I was thinking about this the other day. Shout out to all women out there, because as a guy, I don't go to bars and think, oh, man, am I safe?
Yeah.
Do I have to go to the bathroom? Every time you go to the bathroom, I'm always wondering, like, why do you guys go together? Well, fuck.
Yeah.
Denise Naisland at the beach, she didn't go together with someone. If she did, maybe she would be alive.
Maybe.
That's why you guys go together. That makes sense. It's like in your psychology to go together with another woman, because, it's like I don't think about someone's going to beat me and then that doesn't even come into my world.
There was a really good episode of Aziz Ansari, Master of None show, where he actually did an episode pretty much about that. And it was one of the things that he talked about was like women are just kind of he actually talked about how guys don't think about when you're walking home. You don't walk home alone at night. Girls have their phone and their keys out when they're walking home. There's just some differences that are, you're right, they're truly ingrained in us that guys never even think about.
Right.
It's true. I don't think about that at all, but you guys think about that all the time.
Yeah. Anytime I would be out, my hand would cover the the cup of my drink so that no one could put something in it.
Another victim, Donna Mason, she was a freshman at Evergreen State College. She was 19. Linda Ann Healy, University of Washington senior, vanishes. Donna Mason, freshman at Evergreen State College near Olympia, 19 years old. She was last seen March 12. She waves goodbye to her friends. I'm going to go to a jazz concert. It's not really a concert. It's like on the university. Yeah. She's walking out of her dorm room.
Kind of like an open mic night, maybe?
Yeah, open mic night. She was walking literally 40 feet away from her dorm room to the jazz concert. And she's gone. It's like the world, the universe just unzips, swallows them, and then zips back up. Like she's just not there anymore.
Like the butterfly effect.
Yeah. Susan Rancourt, which we'll talk about a little more later, she was 18. She left a campus meeting at Central Washington State. So we're jumping around campuses now. He's not just attacking everyone at the same campus.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
He's all over the place. But, like, I can't just, well, I guess I could, but most serial, like, think of Gary Ridgway. He can't just go and hang out at a campus.
Right, because he's, like, old and...
He's old and, like...
weird looking.
Yeah, weird looking, and he's dealing with prostitutes. Ted Bundy...
fits right in.
He fits in. He's one of the bros. You know what I'm saying? And what he would do is he would kind of... yeah, you said stalk earlier. He would kind of stalk and then hear your name. Like, let's say Linda, like her friends, her sorority sisters call her Lynn. He'd be in the alley and he would know that because he would overhear it and be like, oh, Lynn, hey, come here. She comes closer, boom, right over the head. Susan Rancourt, 18, left a campus meeting at Central Washington State College, April 17th, last seen walking towards her dorm. She was 50 feet away from her dorm. Never seen again. Her clothes were still in the dorm washing machine. And and she was discovered missing the next morning. Literally on and on and on. Another one, Georgianne Hawkins, 18, freshman, University of Washington, last seen 1 a.m., June 11th, walking in a well-lit alley towards Kappa Alpha Theta sorority house. She vanished less than 100 yards from her destination.
That's crazy.
Where did she go? Like, the thing is, if you get attacked by someone, if someone comes up and mugs you or tries to assault you, what are you going to do? You're going to scream.
Yep.
People are going to come. Most likely, they're going to hear something.
He knocks you over the head before you get to.
Exactly. He comes up behind you, boom, clocks you with a crowbar. That's it. Like, your life's over. You're not going to wake up because if you wake up, well, actually, I'll take it back. He wants you to wake up. But when you do, you're good as dead anyway. You're tied up. You're getting,
assaulted.
Yeah. And I'll get into that part too. Definitely don't want to ruin the night tonight. Now, let's talk about Crippled Ted.
Sling Ted?
Sling Ted. I was thinking about this. He's a sexual psychopath. A psychopath only cares about his or her feelings. A sexual psychopath only cares about his or her sexual feelings. He's got to get his sexual desire. That is very dangerous. I think it's more dangerous than a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because he will stop at nothing to fulfill his desires.
Possible, yeah.
That is why he abducted 2 women within 4 freaking hours of each other.
Yeah. That's
why the police were like, this has got to be some kind of satanic sex cult because no one man would abduct 2 women 4 hours. I mean, if you sexually assault someone and, you get off per se, you're not going to go back in 4 freaking hours. You haven't had time to rejuvenate. You know what I'm saying? You haven't had time. This can't be one man doing this, right? But
I guess it can.
Yeah, so he needed a ruse, some way that he can instantly lower that guard that a woman would have. You're not just going to go off with some random man. But he figured out real quick, if he pretended to be hurt, defenseless, it would get that barrier down. I mean, this is a psychology major. Okay, and he tried a lot of stuff. We're going to go into a lot of different ruses he's done. And the sling is like the one he started with.
Interesting.
Now, if you want to read these two things, Nicole, can you read these? This is a little bit about his ruses.
The car, a Volkswagen Bug, was parked about 300 yards from the railroad trestle. She'd carried his books to the car and then noticed that the passenger seat was missing. Something, she couldn't even say what, had caused the hairs on her back of her neck to stand on end. Something about the missing seat. He seemed nice enough, and they talked about how he'd been injured in skiing at Crystal Mountain, but suddenly she just wanted to be away from him. I put the books on the hood of the car, and I ran. A second girl told a story very much like the first. She had met the man with an injured arm on the 17th and had carried some packages wrapped in butcher paper to his car for him. Then he told me that he was having trouble getting it started and asked me to try to get in and try the ignition while he did something under the hood. I didn't know him. I didn't want to get in his car. I just made some excuse about being in a hurry, and I left.
See, this is what I was talking about, like the controversy behind the renewed interest in Ted Bundy's case is like this Twitter page that we're looking at right now is Billy Jensen. The description next to the pictures we're looking at says, remembering Ted Bundy's victims with renewed attention on Ted Bundy thanks to a film premiere at Sundance and a series on Netflix. Billy Jensen reminds everyone of the lives cut short by the serial killer, because everyone gets so caught up in the case, but they forget that like it's not
How
just
many
like
lives did he take away?
And the focus is on him, which essentially makes him, I don't want to say it, like in his eyes, he would be like, I won because I'm getting the attention. But like these poor women, like they didn't get to live. They all, you know, I didn't mean that with a pun, and no pun intended. Like they didn't get to experience life to the fullest because they were all victims.
Diminished by a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first started researching this case, I was like, man, this is going to be so fun. I always wanted to do Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so interesting. Then I started like reading about it, and it's like making me sick. Like to romanticize this guy. I mean, he is a wrecking ball in fucking society, man. Like,
and it's interesting because you hear the name Ted Bundy, and it's a good point. Like they kind of romanticize him.
Yes.
It's kind of like they kind of have like the way that society portrays
He's
him.
handsome. He's a good-looking guy. You'd never know.
Like the way that society portrays him is kind of almost like a hero, which is kind of not a hero, but it's reminiscent of You on Netflix. Like how you don't know who to root for. Like obviously you don't. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like people root for him, but
kind of like the fucked up mind.
Yeah. So it's scary
because people, I think, in some ways, I think people like it because they think maybe they can kind of relate to it in some ways, or they think like they get some sort of satisfaction by thinking like they're kind of fucked up too.
Yeah, but like. But then when you look at it in reality, it's like, wow, he legitimately was a monster.
And it's terrible to think that anyone would want to idolize this person.
Right. Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for listening to Talk Murder to Me. We really hope that you've enjoyed this part 1 episode about Ted Bundy. I can't wait to start part 2, but I got to get some sleep. So thanks, guys. Good night.
Babe,
I'm kidding.
What's wrong with you? Okay. And this is the point of the night where Nicole questions her boyfriend's sexuality.
You know what I just thought of randomly? When we first started recording, like the first...
Where it would take 7 hours to record.
No, but like our first episodes, like I think it was Lily, like when we were nearly departed, and John was like, "I want to tell you a story." Like that's how we opened it. I just thought of it.
I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah, it was. But like I just because you just
now
opened,
I'm just like fucking talking about penises.
You just opened the way that you opened your portfolio looked like you were opening a book. I was like, oh, he's gonna tell us a story.
All right, guys, I want to tell you a story. That was when I actually I really gave a shit what people thought. Now we talk about grapefruiting.
Oh my gosh! And Karina wrote the funny, like she wrote a great comment back. I forget what she wrote.
I don't know, but she called me out. She's like, Jen, you're so uncomfortable. You shouldn't have mentioned it in the first.
Yeah, Jen, you mentioned it.
Yeah, I know, but I did. What made me uncomfortable was like it was so. Like, no, I mean, it was just like
very uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable for anyone who watches it.
Just the noise.
Yeah, that was amazing. It wasn't even like
God,
that.
on audio too. Can you imagine?
That was funny.
Can you imagine a first-time listener and they're trying to learn the story? What was the story? I can't remember.
Talk murder to me all
the
about?
story about Crystal Perry, and they're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are these guys doing?
That's even not even that
It
bad.
was just like concerning. I was like, oh my God, like that's like I was at the school and you gave a hint, and I was thinking about maybe possibly looking up a drink, and I was like, I can't look this up here.
Yes. What was it? Was it the liquid plumber? Oh yeah. It was
Drano
cocktail.
You can't look up Drano? Oh, Drano cocktail.
No, yeah,
Especially
that would probably be frowned upon.